What a year 1999 was for the professional wrestling industry. The World Wrestling Federation was truly the leader in sports entertainment, exploding across the country and across the goddamn world. All around the world, the other companies crumbled for them like World Championship Wrestling. Yes, ECW was about to get a national television deal that was going to help basically hasten the decline of their company. Also, the fact that Heyman could never control his goddamn checkbook. But back to World Championship Wrestling. They were spiraling the fuck out of control. They had just had the last event in Sturgis, South Dakota. Sturgis seriously sounds like a noise that a cat would make right before throwing up a goddamn hairball. And they were about to lose Eric Bischoff and then bring in Vince Russo. But Vince Russo was still in the World Wrestling Federation. And despite the fact that some of the weekly television, while it had hot crowds, did seem like it was spinning its wheels creatively, the pay-per-views were absolutely exploding. For better or worse, till death do us part, the World Wrestling Federation had a piece of our hearts, and I swear. I'm John Renton with the retro review of WWF SummerSlam 1999 from Minneapolis, Minnesota. About 17,000 fans. Man, Verne Gagne wished he could have drawn a crowd of 17,000 fans after 1986. If only Verne Gagne was in the crowd for this, that would have been pretty goddamn entertaining. He could have seen what it was like to have a hot crowd. When he used to have hot crowds, before he pissed everybody off by not giving Hogan the title against Nick Bockwinkel. No, I will not forget that. But another Minnesota mainstay, Jesse Ventura, returned after many years of hiatus from the World Wrestling Federation, due in large part to a dispute with Vince McMahon, but also he had had a questionable stint in World Championship Wrestling. Well, the stint ended questionably, but he's back to be the special guest referee for this main event at the Target Center, and more on that here in a bit. But talk about the fact that this had 565,000 pay-per-view buys, 600K worldwide. Okay, it was less than what the 1998 event had, but still way, way more. I think it was like more than 97, 96, and 95 combined, or just about, the numbers were comparable for 3 events compared to 1. But we go back to Mania 15, which was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had 800,000 pay-per-view buys, more than WrestleMania 14, which was way more than WrestleMania 13. 863K worldwide. We had Backlash 99 at Providence. In Providence, Rhode Island, by the way, not Providence, Quebec. That would be the province of Quebec. That was 390,000 pay-per-view buys. The rematch, Austin and Rock. And a much better match than what they had at Mania 15. Even though that match was very good, it sold the show, but it was petty theft because Mania 15 sucked. We then had the infamous Over the Edge 1999, Kemper Arena, 400,000 pay-per-view buys. They really should have canceled that goddamn thing. It's not like Vince couldn't have taken a goddamn bath. King of the Ring 99 in Greensboro, 406,000 pay-per-view buys for that handicap ladder match for control of the company. Again, spiraling out of control. Billy Gunn won the King of the Ring tournament. That went nowhere. Fully Loaded 99 in Buffalo, New York. I had planned to retro review that, but unfortunately, time got away from me. I looked at the card, and I remember the card not being all that great, and I didn't have that much to talk about. 334,000 pay-per-view buys. The following Unforgiven 99 in Charlotte. 300,000 pay-per-view buys. They got to witness the Kennel from Hell match. Yeah. No Mercy 99 in Cleveland, Ohio. 298,000 pay-per-view buys. Survivor Series 99 in Detroit, Michigan. 406,000 pay-per-view buys. Comparable to King of the Ring 99. By comparable, I mean the exact same number. Then the following SummerSlam in Raleigh, North Carolina. 520,000 pay-per-view buys. 570K worldwide. So, let's jump on into it with the fact that, yes, the World Wrestling Federation, despite all things such as having Terry Reynolds pretend to have a miscarriage that she didn't want to do on the same night that Mick Foley put butts in seats by winning the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And the package on the triple threat, Jesse Ventura as the referee. I do remember this being kind of cool, seeing Jesse come back. JR and Lawler welcome us and do commentary. And we pitch right to Jesse talking to Triple H and Chyna. Keep him in line, Chyna. She couldn't in a couple years. That was mean. Why am I mean? Jericho then yells at Harold Finkel, as he calls Howard Finkel. And then Jarrett sends Deborah to the back. I don't want your puppies out here. Then D'Lo says, oh, you want to come out? Sure, I can trust you. Person that was just in the corner of the person I'm going to fight. D'Lo was shown as a fucking idiot because D'Lo lost the IC and European Championship in the opening match. And it wasn't necessarily the worst match, but it was very short. As far as match quality, 98 had better match quality. This was seen as a low point for SummerSlam. It's not the worst SummerSlam, but it's not very good. Lawler made a lot of puppy jokes. Lawler's commentary is aged like milk, I will say. And, yeah, Deborah then comes up on the apron. Here's Mark Henry, and he hits D'Lo with the guitar because Mark Henry had been training with D'Lo. D'Lo wanted to help him lose weight. And then Mark Henry turned on D'Lo. And Jarrett won. He was gifted the European Championship, Mark Henry was. And Jarrett would go on to have such a lengthy IC title reign that it ended about 2 months after this. And a good house queefing match. And then he would go for a shit pot full of money from WCW, or at least a good amount of money. And he got a good amount of money to drop the title to Chyna, who was the first and only woman to win the Intercontinental Championship. And based on the fact that they are against intergender wrestling, it's probably going to be the only woman to ever win the Intercontinental Championship. Cole's in with Edge and Christian, who talk about blood spewing. I guess it's that time of the month for some of the women backstage. So, number one contenders tag team turmoil match. The winners face off against the tag team champions at some point on the following Raw. Up in space, I don't know. Edge and Christian and Hardys give us just a bit of a taste of what we are going to see in the future. Like in the Terry Invitational Tournament. Yes, tit. Big, bouncy tits. That's funny, right? To be fair, Terry did the most that she could with that. And actually still does look good. It was hard not to notice. So, nevertheless, and was given a lot of bullshit. Terry should have never had to deal with the bullshit that she dealt with. And she had foisted upon her. So then, after Edge and Christian beat the Hardys, they face off against Mideon and Viscera. That were still a team, for whatever reason. Droz and Prince Albert then came out, because Mideon and Viscera lost. And they lost, and then the Acolytes came out. And the Acolytes beat Edge and Christian, and then beat the Holly Cousins, because the Holly Cousins were fighting. There isn't much to this match. I mean, it's the second longest match on the goddamn card. That's really saying something. That's actually pretty goddamn sad. But yeah, there we go. Al Snow is then with Pepper the little Chihuahua dog. Remember when Al Snow had a little dog with him, and the dog was more over than Al Snow could ever hope to be? Oh, but Al Snow had head. The head was more over than Al Snow, let's be honest. Al Snow, who has run OVW into the goddamn ground. Seriously, as I'm recording this, pause it, take a look at what OVW is doing for some show in a 6,000 seat building. I think they've done maybe 500 to 600 tickets as of this recording. That's not very good for those that are math majors. So, Road Dogg then comes out, Jericho comes out, they do a verbal spat back and forth that wasted pay-per-view time. And I know Jericho had just debuted in the company a couple weeks prior, and there was a transition period. Val Venus just got all upset hearing the word transition. Val Venus, fortunately, was not on this goddamn show. Road Dogg, by the way, was there and probably drunk as fuck. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the way he did commentary for the following match, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. And then Al Snow took on the Boss Man for the hardcore title while Road Dogg did commentary, and there was broken glass everywhere and a propane tank busting, and we just don't care because then they go into traffic, they go into a bar, a newspaper rack gets used, we get a chain being used, not two chains, because nobody is in love with a stripper here. I think 2 Chainz did that. A moonsault onto a table, but Road Dogg then helps Al Snow win by blasting Boss Man in the face. And then Boss Man gets pinned on a pool table. The Boss Man, who, by the way, was part of some great moments in Jim Crockett Promotions and faced Hulk Hogan in a series of great matches and actually was pretty over, is reduced to doing hardcore bullshit. Yeah, we're not exactly 3 for 3. I will say right now, despite my knocking of this particular card, the crowd loved it. Can't knock that. So, then Al runs back to the arena. Stevie Richards and the Blue Meanie of the Blue World Order attack. I totally forgot that Meanie was still there in mid-99. I forgot Stevie was there also. Well, Stevie would end up doing the Right to Censor thing, which was about the only good thing that Stevie has ever done in wrestling, besides be part of the barely legal 97 main event. Ivory then took on Tori for the women's title, and yeah, Ivory, who still looks great and still probably could kick the asses of a lot of people in wrestling. And apparently is a Pacific Northwest native, resident at least, I did not know that. And yeah, she took on Tori, who I have seen on previous shows, like before her WWF run, where she actually was pretty good. What the fuck happened? What happened? This was terrible. This was absolutely abysmal. They tried to do a sit-down maneuver, and then Ivory just had to pin her. This is painful, and poor Ivory not being given anything to work with. And if I thought this was the worst, oh, no. She had to face Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. By the way, fuck the Fabulous Moolah. I'm glad she's dead. My God. Luna then runs off Ivory while Ivory tries to strip Tori, which was about the only thing the fans popped for in this match. So then, give me a second, folks. I got to calm down just a little bit. So, folks, due to the fact that I must pet sit, in case you're wondering, this is Parker. Parker, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. This is Parker. He was a dog that my parents got that, they paid some pretty good money for him, and he's a little noisy. The producer's not a big fan of him because he's a puppy and he just wants to play, but I wanted to introduce him here, so he's going to join for the rest of the review while I do this. So, you are not familiar with Ivory and Tori, by the way, but let me just say that Ivory and Tori's not very good, but Ivory's very good. And then The Rock, you know The Rock, I showed you The Rock. Yeah, I showed you a clip of The Rock. Remember when I saw that WrestleMania documentary? Remember that? I showed you a clip of The Rock. So The Rock yells at Michael Cole and then basically says about facing Billy that he's going to kick Billy's ass. And then Billy brings out a woman in a towel. Because we're going to get fat shaming jokes in this goddamn program. Yay! So then Steve Blackman brought his weapons and his sticks out against Ken Shamrock in a Lions Den weapons match. And if you thought that the Owen Hart Ken Shamrock match was going to be a precursor to this match being good, no. And I love Steve Blackman. Tough guy. Ken Shamrock, tough guy. Couldn't cut a promo. Made Sid seem coherent by comparison. But the one thing about it, though, is they brought nunchucks out. They brought the sticks out. Sticks. You like sticks? They brought sticks out and did all this. So anyway, it's very difficult to do this review, but I'm just going to do this. So anyway, Blackman sucks chance. So yeah, Minneapolis, you fucking goddamn piece of shit. I'm glad the Twins and the Vikings haven't won anything lately. So, Blackman brings his sticks out. We get a cane shot, and Ken Shamrock gets the victory. What is this tag on you? What the hell did you do? Did you get in some kind of goddamn fiasco of a... Oh, that's your paw. Hi. Anyway, I thought maybe he got into, like, the bushes back there where we have a few things. So, basically, Shamrock got the victory, and this would actually be pretty much one of the last appearances of Shamrock. He would have a short feud with Chris Jericho, and then would be gone from the company for good. And then we get the lover or leaver Greenwich Street fight with Test. You don't know Test. I know you don't know Test. We try to test you, and you can't do anything. So, Test against Shane McMahon. If Shane McMahon wins, then Test must stop putting his affection toward, around, and inside every orifice that Stephanie McMahon has. Not like every other man hasn't done that. That's mean. That's totally mean. But if Test wins, then he gets to have Stephanie to himself, and Shane must leave him alone. But Shane's not going to do it without a fight. And Shane ends up, by the way, bringing out the Main Street Posse. I think Joey Abs is the only one that was like actually a legit wrestler, and he still wasn't very good. But that being said, Pete Gas got like massive amounts of blood at like one particular event. I forget what. I want to say it was Mania 20. No, not 20. Mania 2000. God, Mania 20. Good Lord, if he was still wrestling then. But Greenwich Street fight, a lover or leaver match. This match was better than it had any right to be. Shane was willing to bust out some moves. The posse got knocked off their couch or whatever. Get JD Vance away from that goddamn thing. Yeah. Hi. And then, basically, they keep attacking Tess. Like, I'm not going to get into the minutia of this whole damn thing, but basically, they keep attacking him. Interference. They're just mean people, aren't they? They are the mean street pussy. Okay. So anyway, basically, so yeah, Tess got drilled in the head a couple times. Yeah, I know you're tired. You'll get a treat here soon after this. But yeah, we had basically Shane missed a corkscrew moonsault, like I think jammed his knee bad. He's like, I'm just gonna do this. Ow! I needed those knees to walk. And then the boss keeps attacking. They get Test on the announcer's table, sky elbow that Shane almost didn't clear, even in 99. And bless him, that man is willing to leap and do a lot of crazy things. Might be doing it in the land of all elite because Tony Khan is willing to throw around money to anybody for no goddamn reason. But he did hit that, and then he got back in the ring. But no, just a 2 count. Oh no, he's still alive. He's still alive. He's still alive. But then the boss keeps attacking, and then the Stooges attack. Of course, Pat Patterson takes any opportunity to attack a young lad from behind against his will. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, then study up on the ring boy thing. But, the Stooges attack, and then what does Test do? Test manages to hit the pump handle slam, and then hits a sky elbow. 1, 2, 3, yay! Poor thing. The only time this dog bothers me is when he attacks or tries to attack the producer to get him to play. But anyway, yes, 1, 2, 3, and Stephanie is out celebrating, and everybody is 100% happy except the dog that wants to sleep. I still gotta do the video, and I need to keep an eye on the goddamn dog, and this is the only way I can do it. But anyway, X-Pac and Kane are talking about defending the tag titles, and X-Pac is gonna prove himself. He's gonna prove himself in the land of the giants. So anyway, then Taker and Big Show, the unholy alliance, took on... Get your paw up on my goddamn shoulder. Come on. Anyway, Taker and Big Show, along with Paul Bearer, the unholy alliance, yeah, that didn't last very long, took on Kane and X-Pac for the tag titles. I will say that the crowd was very much into this, and when they targeted Kane, it was like, okay, take out the bigger guy and let's target the small guy. But then I know, they shouldn't target the small guy like that. That's mean to do. But what they ended up doing is, the crowd got fired up and Pac fought back. He did some good stuff here. I'm not going to knock the whole match, but I will say this is the stay of the tag division. 2 makeshift tag teams, convening over the tag titles instead of legit tag teams, which just speaks to how Vince McMahon felt about the tag division. But then a chokeslam for 2. Taker's like, don't cover him like a little bitch. I'm going to tombstone him. And Pac's like, ow, I needed that surgically repaired neck to live. And 1, 2, 3. And there you are. So, Taker would be gone soon after this, but for now, we got new tag titles. Yeah, we did get new tag team champions. I know. Almost done, then you get a treat. That sound good? So anyway, Jesse Ventura is trying to talk to Austin after he tried to talk to Foley and stuff like that. And Billy brings out a fat woman to make fat jokes. And I'm not saying fat is a shameful thing. She was a bigger woman, and the commentary made a lot of fat jokes. Yeah, I know, fat jokes. They just aren't cool, are they? They just aren't cool. They just aren't cool. So Rockin' Billy, not Rockabilly, not Billy Gunn's old, country style. Hi, stop. Okay, you'll be fine. So yeah, they did their deal where it was a kiss my ass match. It wasn't very good. Billy apparently found this entertaining, this whole thing. Bob, but my name's Billy. Yes, it doesn't matter what your name is. I know. He insulted him by not knowing his name. How can he do that? But then, yeah, later the big lady got in, and you know what the big lady did? The big lady, yes, she exposed her ass just like that. Exposed her ass. And then Billy got his face shoved into it, got the rock bottom into people's elbow. And it wasn't good. A lot of fat comments about this. The fat comments were revolting. I agree. It's okay. Jesse then makes his entrance. And you know what Jesse did? Do you know what Jesse did? He did not have Jesse's girl. How do you know about Rick Springfield? But backstage, walks to the ring. Foley comes out. It's Foley, it's Austin, it's Triple H. Jesse Ventura is a special guest referee. Jesse is kind of ineffective at first as a referee, but then eventually kicks China out, and even though Triple H uses a chair, he's like, oh, you're going to use a chair? Well, ask the crowd if you use it if you try to deny it. And this is notorious because Foley was added because, one, they were possibly going to have Austin face off against China. Could you imagine a woman being the WWF champion? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? But he had Foley added to it because he didn't feel that Triple H would be a worthy champion. Kind of funny how they ended up getting the Triple H as champion. Yeah, they did, I know. But Austin, Triple H, and Mankind kept brawling around the ring. They kept brawling at the entranceway. This is like the 5th time we've seen them brawl around the entranceway. It's ridiculous. I agree. But then, yeah, there was a broken up 3 count by a chair, and then another chair shot to Foley, and Jesse's like, I'm not going to count that. I'm going to pull a Red Shoes, even though Red Shoes, I don't think it was a referee in New Japan at this point. Maybe he was. It was 99. But yes. So then, basically, Shane shows up. He gets hit with the stunner, and he gets chucked out. But then Austin gets tangled up in the ropes because his knee brace and all that stuff. And he actually did have a legit knee injury that needed to be scoped and checked out and stuff like that. But he's trying not to laugh at Triple H while he's being like, I wouldn't drop the title to you, but ha ha ha. Ow, my knee brace is tangled. I know, it's almost done. We're almost done. But then a stunner to Triple H, but then soon after a pedigree to Austin. But then Foley manages to knock Triple H off of that, hits a double arm DDT. 1, 2, 3. Mick Foley is a three-time WWF champion. And then Jesse leaves with them, and then Triple H assaults Austin with a chair so Austin can get some time off. Even though he would make appearances, he would be dealing with knee injuries and then deal with the neck injury that would take him out of Survivor Series 99. So, now that the pup is upset. Wasn't a very good event, was it? No, it wasn't. Okay, folks, so agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. And I'm John Ritlin. Adopt, don't shop. There's a dog. And I'll see you soon.